Civilization rests on the seed. From the banks of the Nile to the valleys of Mexico, myths tell of divine messengers who brought the gift of agriculture to humankind. In Greece, that figure was Triptolemus, chosen by Demeter herself, yet he stands among a chorus of similar figures: Osiris in Egypt, Dionysus in Greece, Dumuzi in Mesopotamia, and Kukulkan and Quetzalcoatl in Mesoamerica. As the great historian Messiah Eliade reminds us, the gift of agriculture is never merely material. It is the transmission of sacred knowledge, a ritual contract between gods and mortals. Let us follow the trail of these seed bringers and uncover how humanity remembered the planting of civilization. In the Greek city of Eleusis, a mortal prince named Triptolemus encountered the goddess of the harvest. The Homeric hymn to Demeter describes Demeter's kindness. To Triptolemus, horsewhip lashing, to Diocles too, to mighty Eumolpus, and to Kelios, leader of the people, she showed the conduct of her rites and taught her mysteries to all of them. Demeter entrusted Triptolemus with spreading her gift, the cultivation of grain, across the earth. Ancient art shows him in a serpent-drawn chariot sowing seed. As scholar Kevin Clinton observes, Triptolemus personified Eleusis, claim to the origin of agriculture, and through him the mysteries were linked to the very foundations of civilization. Through him, the seed was made sacred, and agriculture became a covenant between gods and humanity. Far to the south, Egypt told a similar tale. Osiris, king and god, taught the Egyptians how to grow crops. Plutarch writes in his On Isis and Osiris, "They say Osiris was the first to make men give up their savagery, to become civilized through the discovery of grain and the cultivation of crops. Osiris's death and resurrection mirrored the cycle of sowing and harvest, the seed buried in earth rising again in life. As Egyptologist Jan Assmann wrote, Osiris was not simply a god of the dead, he was the green god, vegetation itself, eternally renewed." Here again, the grain is divine, the gift of immortality, bound to the cycles of the Nile. But Greece itself knew another bringer of cultivation, Dionysus. Where Triptolemus brought wheat, Dionysus brought the vine. Euripides has his chorus sing, "He gave to mortals the vine that stops all suffering. He who drinks his gift is freed from pain." Bread and wine, wheat and vine, became the twin pillars of Greek ritual and survival. Triptolemus and Dionysus together embody what the Greeks saw as the divine roots of culture. In Mesopotamia, agriculture was personified in the figure of Dumuzi, shepherd and consort of the blessed Inanna. The Sumerian Dumuzi's dream laments his fate. "He has carried away my shepherd. He has taken away my farmer of grain. Who will plough my fields now? Who will water my pastures? His descent into the underworld marked the barrenness of the fields. His return, their renewal. As Samuel Noah Kramer once wrote, the fertility of the soil and the fertility of women were bound together in Dumuzi's destiny. A mythic mirror of planting and harvest. Across the ocean, in the valleys of Mexico, Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, brought maize to humankind. The histories of the Mexicans by their paintings recount. Quetzalcoatl transformed into an ant and entered the mountain of sustenance, carrying out a single grain of maize to give to humanity. Maize became the very body of humanity, as the Popol Vuh declares, their flesh was made of yellow maize, their blood of white maize. Thus was created the body of the first people. Here too, the serpent, the seed, and the civilizing gift converge. As anthropologist David Carrasco observes, Quetzalcoatl's maize is more than food. It is identity, the very substance of being human. What unites these figures? Triptolemus, Osiris, Dionysus, Dumuzi, Quetzalcoatl is their role as civilizers. They stand between gods and mortals. They teach agriculture, turning survival into culture. Their myths echo cycles of death and rebirth like the crops they personify. And their memory was enshrined in mystery rites and seasonal festivals. As the comparative scholar Walter Burkert wrote, the myth of the first sower is never about agriculture alone. It is about order, culture, and the possibility of human life under the gods. So, whether it is wheat, barley, or maize, the seed is always more than food. It is the bond between heaven and earth, mortality and divinity, the human and the cosmic. Triptolemus does not stand alone. He is one voice among many, an emissary of a universal truth that civilization begins in the act of planting and that every harvest is a sacred gift.